What is going on, guys? Eric here from Bolts and Banter, and I am super excited to introduce the first ever project car on this channel, this 1995 Honda Civic DX. But before we go ahead and do a walk around of this car and a background story about what we're going to do to it, check out some of my other videos that include that 1993 Land Cruiser Prado that I imported from Japan, and my beloved daily driver, a 2018 4Runner TRD Off-Road. Those two cars have been featured on this channel before. We've done quite some work on it. They're pretty much done in terms of projects, and any DIY guy knows when fingers get itchy, they get itchy. This car fell into my hands. I contacted the owner last year and left a note under his windshield saying that I was interested in purchasing his car. Unfortunately, back then we could not come to a deal. He had just purchased the car and wanted a bit too much money for it, but he texted me a week ago and said that the car needed engine work and that he was no longer interested in sinking money into it any further. I said, sure, let's go ahead, let's make a deal, and he did not mention to me that the car was at a gas station, it wasn't running, and that it needed a tow. I was interested in this car last year because he said it only had 48,000 miles on it, and right now it has 54,616 miles. Super low for the year, but unfortunately it has a problem that made it crank but not start. Some of you guys can probably already guess what's going on here, and I'll go ahead and show you. Yes, that's right, a blown head gasket. The head gasket blew, the car also overheated. You guys can see over there that the top end tank on the radiator is busted, and there is coolant absolutely everywhere. You can also tell that there are no stickers on the underside of the hood. The car has had 3 owners in the past, even though it does have low mileage, and it's been in 3 accidents in that time, and that's why the hood respray is not so good. Anyway, back to the engine. The head gasket blew, and that's the reason why this head is disassembled, or the engine is disassembled, and why the car was down for the count. Not to worry though, we are on the way to fixing it. So other than that, the goal for this car is to get it running, and of course getting it running means getting the head machined, getting everything put back together. We're going to make sure that everything on this engine is tip-top shape before reassembly. That way it will become a great daily driver, and because of that, we're going to call this the Cheapie Honda Civic. As I mentioned, this car has had 3 owners, 54,000 miles. In that time, it has not been that well maintained, so we're going to go ahead and do all of the routine maintenance as well, including fresh fluids. We're going to put in new belts, including a new timing belt, water pump. All the dry belts are going to be new as well. We're going to purchase new cam seals to make sure that everything on the top end does not need to be disassembled again at a later date. We want this to be a reliable daily driver, but we're going to be doing it on the cheap. Everything that we're ordering is either from Rock Auto on a closeout section, getting the best deals possible. If it's not on sale, if it's not on Marketplace, we're not interested. And of course, this is a DIY channel, so we're going to be doing all the work to this car on the driveway ourselves. Moving on to the other portions of the car, mechanically it does also need new brakes, so we have new brakes coming from Rock Auto. And if you guys haven't been able to tell yet, these tires are long past due. Actually, the tires in the front don't match the sidewall of the tires in the rear. That's definitely taller than that one. and that one doesn't have a date code on it. This date code is from 2008. They don't even make tires like this anymore. So we have new tires on order from Pep Boys. Got them at a super steep discount, which we'll talk about in a subsequent video. And I also have some Honda Civic HX wheels from the generation after this, which we're gonna refurbish and respray ourselves. All rattle can, all in the driveway. So super excited for that. I think it's gonna change the look of this car significantly. But in terms of exterior, we're also going to remove all of these 90s-esque plastic protective bits, which are literally everywhere. And we're also going to remove this pinstripe. This is an old school pinstripe, not a vinyl decal, but a hand-painted stripe. And if you guys haven't already seen it, this is the last accident that the car was been in, and the previous owner decided he wasn't going to fix it. This fender has already been repaired at some point. So we have a new aftermarket fender on order, and we are going to color match that aftermarket fender to the rest of this car using rattle cans. All in the driveway, and it is fall, so we're gonna have to choose a good day to do it. We have new Vision clear corners on order, and for the rest of the paint, we're gonna go ahead and try to polish it out as much as possible. None of this has been touched since the car rolled off the tow truck, and if you guys can see, not only is the paint super dirty, but it's also really faded. We're gonna see if we can rescue a little bit of the paint, make it shiny again, but the plan for the exterior is a full exterior detail, a cut, a polish, clay bar, and ceramic coating to make this car look good again. That's gonna be it for the exterior. We're also gonna paint some of the other trims, just very minor work, so we're gonna use some SEM trim black on the mirrors, also on these door trims, which always fade. We chose this car because it does not have any rust on the quarters, and that is super exciting to me. It's hard to find a car or a Honda in the Northeast from the 90s that hasn't rusted away yet. This is one of them, and I'm super excited that we are dealing with a car that has a pretty clean chassis. The car is tucked away in the corner over here to give us room in the driveway, and it's tucked in here because it doesn't run. So we're gonna keep it like this for quite some time until we get it running, until we get the head back on the car. A quick peep into the interior of the car. It is bone stock, bone stock. And as I mentioned before, it has 54,000 miles on it. The only modification that has happened in the interior is the aftermarket radio, which we're going to change out to an OEM Civic EG radio that has a better fit, and it will look more period correct. And apart from that, we're just going to go ahead and deep clean all of the fabrics here. So we'll get the water extractor out, or the carpet extractor, and we'll go ahead and just give this a nice good clean. However, for the year and for the age, it's quite nice in here. The only thing that's really worn out on this interior is a little rip in the driver's seat, which I think we can go ahead and restitch. But other than that, it's looking really good. Other plans, other than that OEM radio, maybe we'll try to source a speaker deck from an EX model in the junkyard. They're super hard to find now in the junkyard, but we're gonna go ahead and try to find one, so that way we can have the OEM speaker cutouts or the speaker grills. And because this is a DX model with manual locks and manual windows, I might decide to install an aftermarket alarm as well as a remote start, because we haven't done that yet, and we want to try out new things on this DIY channel. Let's pop the trunk open really quick. And before we go into the trunk, it looks like someone has tried to repair the seatbelt here. Probably slow to retract. Yep, slow to retract. So someone decided to try and pry that open. They didn't really know what they were doing, so they didn't put it back. Hey, how's it going? Thank you. And moving back here, you guys can see that that speaker and that speaker have been haphazardly installed. Cut the harness, so we're gonna put the OEM harness back. We just put some of the parts in here that we removed from the engine, and we're gonna clean this all up. We're gonna put in a new trunk liner. As you guys can see, that one's perished and doesn't really even exist over here. And this is some evidence of what neglect happened to this car. When we got this car, there were 5 or 6 bottles of this antifreeze in the back, meaning to say the old owner knew that this car was problematic and just kept refilling it with coolant to see how far they could go. until it explodes. And it did. Lucky for this car though, it is on the driveway and we are going to take care of it. We are going to resurrect it. And like I said, this is the Cheapie Civic and we're going to be doing it on the cheap. We're also going to be doing this in some pretty aggressive timelines. It is now the beginning of November and we're going to try to get this whole build done in a month in our free time. All DIY, all on the driveway. So the next time you guys see this car with a full walk around, hopefully it will have a complete transformation and it will become a super cool, retro, and economical daily driver. If you guys want to see more work done to this car, and if you want daily updates on it, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Bolts and Banter. And if you like this video and want to see more EJ2 Civic car content here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button because it helps that YouTube algorithm. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Eric from Bolts and Banter, introducing this brand new project car to us, and it's going to be super fun. I hope you guys stick along for the ride.